That's a picture of Alyssa. She was diagnosed at age 2 with type 1 diabetes. I'm going to read you a story that her mother wrote. I took care of my body and had a perfectly normal pregnancy with Alyssa, although she came 3 weeks early. I breastfed her for 11 months. I gave her a good start in life, so when she was diagnosed with diabetes, it came as a shock. Around the beginning of September, my boys brought home a cold. Alyssa only got a fever, but it ran high, 104.3 degrees. On September 11th, she started acting differently and did not seem herself. My normally active girl was very lethargic, lost her appetite, and was excessively urinating. I thought this was because of her drinking and increase of fluids, but this went on for the entire week. I thought the boys had brought home a flu bug and passed it along to Alyssa, so on Saturday, I got her a 2:30 doctor's appointment. They ran blood tests and tried to get urine sample, which they were unable to get. I spent the rest of the long day waiting for the results and finally asked if I could take her home at 6 o'clock. The doctors then asked us to come into her room. She told me that they were redoing Alyssa's blood test because there was something abnormal. Then she left the room, leaving me alone to wonder what was wrong with my child and fearing the worst. 30 minutes later, the doctor returned and told me Alyssa needed to be hospitalized. Her sugar was high and that she had type 1 diabetes. They transported us and we went there to the next hospital for 4 days, trying to stabilize Alyssa and trying to learn how to care for her when she was able to go home. We came home and now have to give her 4 shots a day, 2 at breakfast and 2 at lunch and dinner. I checked her blood sugars 5 or more times a day. I even sometimes test it at night when she's asleep. As a family, we are adjusting to the new diet. Stuart, my oldest son, has really taken an interest in it and wants to learn as much as he can. Thomas is 6, and other than his sister must take shots and eat sugar-free stuff, I don't think he really gets it. It's a daily struggle of numbers still, but I have already figured out some of Alyssa's symptoms when she goes too low. This is an example of the shots that Alyssa has to take 4 times a day. This is one of many true life stories of children living with juvenile onset diabetes or type 1 diabetes. I am speaking with you today to help you understand the need for research and hope for families and people living with juvenile diabetes and its devastating effects. Over 17 million Americans live with diabetes, and over 1 million have juvenile onset or type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease that strikes children and adults and can be fatal. People with type 1 diabetes have to test blood sugar levels and give themselves insulin by shot or injectable pump every day. These are not curable measures. They just help with juvenile diabetes in general. The Juvenile Diabetes Foundation was founded in 1970. Mary Tyler Moore is a spokesperson and is a type 1 diabetic herself. The foundation is a leading charitable founder and advocate for type 1 juvenile diabetes. The headquarters is in New York City. One of the most successful events for the Walk for the Cure fundraiser and the fastest growing walkathon program in the world and the fastest growing event in history of the JDRF. Last year, $94 million was raised nationwide through the Walk for a Cure, and this year they expect to pass $100 million. Volunteers with the walk typically have a personal connection with type 1 diabetes, which translates into an unrelenting commitment to finding a cure. There are more than 100 locations worldwide that raise money for type 1 diabetes research. There are currently 5 research targets that money raised by walking is funded. As you can see, there are many people who suffer from diabetes, and my father was one of them. We must find a cure, and the walk is an easy way to play your part in helping children all over the world. You do not need to have money or be anything other than yourself. The beauty in the walk is you do not even have to walk. Even if you are unable to walk, you can take pledges and either wheel or have someone walk for you. Time is so important as we race towards a cure, because every hour 3 more people are diagnosed with this deadly disease that slowly debilitates its victim. In conclusion, I ask you are willing to donate, not of your money, but of your heart and your time, to help raise money to help researchers find a cure that is killing the next generation of our youth. I am a child of a juvenile diabetic, and I watched diabetes slowly kill my father, who had diabetes from the age of 6 until his early death at 30. I pray for others not to suffer this fate, so please walk. Walk to find a cure for juvenile diabetes. This is a picture of my father and I. Thank you. And this is my lovely audience, since nobody else would come in here and listen to me because it snowed today and they're out doing other things. Thank you.